Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Ask Prof Dan. Before we get started today, I need to give you a little history about this video blog that I created. In this class that I teach at Ohio University, I have a segment every semester on dating and relationships. The class is called Intro to Human Communications, Comms 1010 for those of you who have taken it. And I'm making this video for my students. It's difficult in a class that size to get to know everybody, but I do my best with the assignments that we have. And one of the sections I like is this day on the relationships unit when I spend time asking students answering students' frank questions about relationships. And it's the part that a lot of students miss when they leave the class. And this semester, it is fall 2014, I have a particularly wonderful set of classes. Amazing students that I love lecturing to on Tuesdays and Thursdays at Morton 201, for those of you who've been to our campus before. With that in mind, I wanted to create a gift for you, my students, and anybody you want to show this to, a little video blog called Ask Prof Dan. I plan to continue this throughout the next year, once a week uploading and trying to answer your questions, because learning doesn't stop just because fall semester's over, right? We have a lot more to learn, and I don't have all the answers, but maybe together we can go on a journey and try to find those answers? I don't know. Well, you're in my spacious office here. I'm moving soon to a new office, so that'll be really exciting. But so today we launch the YouTube channel Ask Prof Dan, and my video blog Ask Prof Dan episode 1 is today. I've got a disclaimer for you. If you've been in my class before, you've seen this disclaimer. Dan West is not a therapist and does not pretend to be one. The advice given by Dan West, that's me, is intended for entertainment purposes only. Dan West will attempt to answer your questions about love, relationships, or actually anything. You can write in questions about anything that you want all throughout the semester, or forever, right? And I'll try to link it to some kind of comm theory, because that's what I teach is communication studies. And hopefully we'll have a lot of fun in the process. I'll probably make fun of your question if you send it in. So anyway, send those questions in. It's askprofdan@gmail.com. I just created the link. It's very exciting. Well, I guess it's an email address, askprofdan@gmail.com. And I'll answer all your questions as they come in, or I'll dig in my stack of note cards from the last couple of years and answer those questions. All right. Question 1, well, for those of you who have taken my class, I have to answer this one first because I answer it all the time. It is, are long-distance relationships a bad idea? Are long-distance relationships a bad idea? Okay, let's cut to the chase here. I teach mostly traditionally aged undergraduate students, 18 to 24 years old. And I've seen a lot of you in my 30 years go by at the university, whatever university I've been at. And this is what I see happen. I see a lot of kids come to school here with a significant other somewhere else. And cell phone technology has made this so simple to keep a relationship with someone else while you're here at school. There's nothing wrong with that. However, when you maintain that relationship over the phone or on Skype or whatever it is, when you maintain that relationship instead of getting to know the people around you, then we start to have problems because you're not taking advantage of the people around you. I mean, I can go on and on about cell phones and technology and everything that they've done, but the reality is when you come to college, you meet new people, and that's why you're here. And I don't have a stat on it, but the most of the relationships that people sustain with people back home or at other schools end. That's part of life, and that's part of growing up. As I tell people, every relationship you have fails except for the one you're in. I'm lucky. I've been married for a long time, so that's a fantastic thing. But they're all practice. And the relationship you have at home can be good for you if you want to sustain that. But here's how to make it work, and then I'll give you some advice on what to do. If you really want to sustain a long-distance relationship over time and over space, you and the other person have to be committed to a couple of things. One, you have to be committed to doing more than texting each other. Like texting each other, what's up, what are you doing today, is not really the in-depth kind of communication you need to have if you want to have a successful relationship. The second thing you have to do is you have to commit to sharing your lives with each other. Like you have to be sure that you're sharing the details in your life. It's too easy to not tell them what's going on or not tell them about your activities because you're so far apart. And when that happens, when you don't tell things to other people, then you create two separate lives that don't intersect. And if they don't intersect, you don't have a relationship. And that's kind of why you want a relationship, is so your lives overlap with each other. The third thing you do is you have to make a commitment to that person meeting your new friends and you meeting their friends and making them part of your lives. And that's really hard. I don't recommend it for a long time, but it can work. Here's what I see usually, though, is I see people hanging on to these relationships back home because they're afraid of meeting new people or afraid of getting in a new relationship. It's okay to not be in a relationship until you find somebody that you want to spend time with. And it's really frustrating for me to watch college students, I mean, and I'm just speaking to college students right now, but to watch college students forego opportunities here on campus just to hang out with friends because they have to Skype with somebody back home. So the question was, are long-distance relationships a bad idea? Not really, but I don't think they're a good idea for most college students. I think most people maintain long-distance relationships out of fear of being alone, fear of the other person hating them, fear of rejecting or being rejected, and not out of love. If you want to maintain a long-distance relationship, then you have to maintain it out of love and not fear. And if you're only maintaining a relationship because you're afraid of someone dropping you, like I just dropped one of my questions on the floor, that's not a good reason. Follow-up emails, askprofdan at gmail.com if you want questions about that. That was the first one. The second question I have here, is there such a thing as love at first sight? Yeah. Does everybody have it? No. I was really lucky. I had started dating the woman that is now my wife back in '93, and we'd gone on just a few dates, talked on the phone. This is pre-internet, remember? I think I actually sent her a letter after we flirted once because I was interested, and she wrote back with a mixtape, if any of you know what that is. If not, ask your mom and dad, they'll tell you what it is. And we had gone out to get some food for dinner. It was either before or after a movie, and we were standing in the Cashwise grocery store in Fargo, North Dakota, the one on 13th Avenue South, and we were just looking at the ice cream in the frozen. They had a big aisle of ice cream, and I looked at her, and I thought, oh my God, I am going to be picking out ice cream with this woman for the rest of my life, and that is cool. And so I quick looked down at the ice cream because I got to remember this. I got to remember this. I got to remember this. And I look down, and all I can see is Cherry Garcia ice cream. Well, Cherry Garcia frozen yogurt. You know, Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia frozen yogurt. I don't like that. It's not my favorite flavor at all. So there I'm stuck with this memory. But yeah, love at first sight is awesome. But that's not enough for a relationship. Here's the crazy thing. Actually, I say that a lot, but it's not crazy. Yeah, there's this thing as love at first sight, but maintaining a relationship takes time and effort. And there have been some bumps along the road, but I mean, it's a great start. And then if you both are interested and both take time to help each other through those rough spots, it can be a pretty cool trip. So yeah, love at first sight, get started with it and see where it goes. From there on, you know, it's hard work, but a lot of fun. I have time for one more question. I want to keep these short so you actually watch them. So this question is one I get a lot, and it was pretty funny. I mean, I got a big laugh in class when I answered it. Is this: is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it? Okay, I've answered this before. And usually this question comes from somebody that wants to have sex a lot. Here's the deal, and I actually have to defer to a greater authority on this than I do. I refer back to my marriage and family instructor at South Dakota State University, Dr. Ronald Stover, when he was talking about sex, sexuality, and relationships. And he said, yeah, you should use it so you don't lose it. But then he reminded everybody in the class, he goes, gentlemen, he was speaking directly to the guys at the time, remember, there is nothing so important to you physically that you can't accomplish it by yourself in the bathroom in 30 seconds. Hopefully longer. And women, you know you can too, right? Sexuality expressed inside of an awesome relationship is the best way to do it. Don't think you need to just use it to keep it in practice because we're all good at practicing stuff on our own. Okay, that wraps up today's episode 1 of Ask Prof Dan. Again, well, bear with me. I'm going to edit it on YouTube to see if I even get it right. So if it looks like a jumbled mess, it is my fault, right? That being said, questions. If you have questions, send them to askprofdan at gmail.com. That's all one word, askprofdan at gmail.com. And I will answer those on air next week. This show comes out every Thursday, and so that means Thanksgiving. Tomorrow will be the first show, and I look forward, hopefully, to this working and keeping the momentum and excitement of my Comms 1010 class alive. Thanks for watching, and askprofdan.com. No, it's not a website yet. Askprofdan at gmail.com if you have any questions. Take care, and I'll talk to you next week.